Hey guys, I'm at my buddy Rob's house. He called me and said, I've got a leak, kind of a random one at my house, and I thought this might make an interesting Robe episode. We'll see if we end up publishing this. But check this out, this is a mystery, and I've actually looked at this with him a couple times before. Can you see that wet spot on the foundation? What we've got here is slab on grade foundation. This is the brick ledge right here, and then we've got brick going on. And he's got some heavy water right here, and over the last week or two, it started actually wet back this way. Now, my original thought was he's got a tankless water heater that was added on the outside of this 1970s house. But as you can see, the piping's coming up from the top up there out of the attic, so I don't think there's any issues with that piping per se. Now, at some point in this garage space right here, the prior homeowner to my buddy Rob owning it put in a bedroom and a bathroom. So we're gonna measure off the brick, see where we are here, and I think that's gonna end us up into the bathroom that's on the other side here. Let's go take the IR camera and see if we can figure out where the problem is. All right, so we're inside. This is a converted garage space, bedroom and bathroom. I've got my FLIR imaging moisture meter on right here, and this tub was added, I don't know, 10 or 15 years ago, and the pipes on the outside that we saw where that tankless are right there. Let's see if our imaging moisture meter can show anything. Oh, that's kind of cool. Look at that. Can you see that on the film? On the video? There's some blue spots right here that seem to indicate there's moisture down in the base of that tub space. I wonder if that's our moisture from the outside.
No, it's somebody had a shower.
Okay, well that's not it. That's not helping us. But check that out. That's pretty cool. Look at that. It's showing that blue water right there. That's from someone showering earlier. And if you scroll up, you can see it right there. They got a little bit of water on the shampoo bottle right there, and that dark blue is showing that. Nothing else seems to be showing up on the outside as water per se. This is an infrared moisture meter. I've not had a ton of experience with this. This is interesting. You can see the heat loss at the top of the top plates right there, shown as real white, meaning it's real hot up there. Let's scroll around the side, see if there's anything we can see right here. Nothing. When we pull the tape measure off the side of the house, where that water is right in the outside here. So let me get out my my Festool saw, and we're gonna cut a little hole behind this tub and see what we can see.
All right, got a little hole here. I really hope this is gonna tell us something. Not just make a big mess. But we shall see. Maybe it'll be just a big mess. My buddy Rob's wife, Kim, is gonna be real upset if I'm cutting holes for nothing, so I have a pretty good hunch this is gonna be helpful. I think we're gonna be able to see wet concrete down there, if it really is wet. On the other side of the bathroom is his master bath, and over there doesn't appear to be any damage. All right, moment of truth. Oh darn, we got insulation. Oh no, we can move it. All right, let's see what we got here, people. Dry. Crazy. Totally dry back there, as far as I can tell. Darn! Well, that's something. Not what we wanted to know, but it's something. Very interesting. Bone stinking dry. Yep. Yep. Let's grab the moisture meter again, Rob, will you? Interesting enough, it shows something blue at the far end of the area. What is that?
Now, since we couldn't find anything in the room next door, on the other side of this wall right here is that tub where we just cut. Totally bone dry under there. Odd. Let's check out the moisture meter over here if we can see anything. We've got a master toilet. This master was redone, what, Rob, a year ago or so? Something like that. And this is so cool, man. Look, you can see the water in the toilet tank as blue, but nothing else shows up Super weird. And we're right on the other side. Oh, wait a minute. No, I thought I saw some blue showing on the slab right here. Did I? Does that look to you like it's wet? Mm-hmm. That's wet. We got wet grout right here. All right, our first sign of something.
Look at the separation on the baseboard too, right there by your knee.
This is getting wet. Yeah. Good point. Good call, Rob. Yeah, look at the moisture meter showing this right here. Look at this. You're seeing some blue in the moisture meter. This thing's cool, man. I like this Fleer. Fleer MR160 we're using today. Look, it's we're wet underneath that cabinet. All right, so a couple theories. When this went on, when this vanity got added, or when this wall right here, which is clad in a 1 by 2 or 1 by 4 TNG, I'm wondering if one of these pipes, or one of these got nailed in, a trim nail went through a pipe, the nail kind of sealed the pipe, and it's leaking. And these guys had a leak detector come out which pressurized the system. He couldn't find the problem, but the leak outside has gotten worse since then. So my theory is that there's a nail through a pipe somewhere in this general vicinity, either piping for this sink or for this toilet. So I think the first thing we're gonna do, or the first thing we should do, is let's cut a hole in this vanity right here in the bottom with the Festool plunge saw and see if we can see a problem in the bottom there. And maybe we can track the source back here. If not, we're gonna take the first board off behind the toilet and see if we can find the problem. All right, hole's cut. Let's see what we got, people. Oh, interesting. Is that wet slab? I can't tell immediately. Yeah, it's all wet under here. We found the source of the problem. We know what the problem is. Look, it's wet sawdust right there. The problem is here somewhere. Where? It's a well-built cabinet truss. Look at that nice 3/4 thick plywood. That's the Baltic birch ply? That's good cabinets, buddy. Good
fancy.
job.
I'm super fancy.
Yeah. See that water under there? And your wife will be glad to know there's a little bit of mold growth in there too.
Let's not talk about that.
Sorry, Kim. We can fix it. Don't worry. Now we know what the problem is. The harder part now is figuring out which pipe is leaking and where. Because the plumber can't fix it until we know where the problem is. But we know I would say it's probably coming from these two pipes because it's further from the toilet area. So I have a feeling it's one of these two pipes here. All right, so here's the game plan. We got a hole cut in the bottom of the vanity. Let's throw my iPhone back in there, use the flash, take a picture, and check this out. This is really interesting. I looked all around in the back of the cabinet there with my phone. Beautiful to be able to use this little camera and the flash. Nothing to the left-hand side of the vanity, but as we get to the right, ooh, what's that? Little zoom in. There's 3 copper pipes coming out of the slab in the back right-hand corner here, and it appears to be wet around that area. I wonder if when this remodel happened, we got a small leak back there. So we're gonna use the plunge cut saw again, cut a corner out of this vanity. Be real careful though, we don't want to plunge too deep and hit a pipe. Let's see if we can track this leak down. All right, little progress update. Unfortunately, we weren't filming, but a second ago, there was a geyser here. I used the plunge cut saw to pull this back off, and look what is directly behind the backer. I mean, no matter what, I would have hit it. There's copper pipes that are into the space all the way up against the vanity. There's no insulation back here. There's some black mold, not black mold. There is some fungal growth back here. But we still don't know where the leak was, and unfortunately I ran out in a huff to shut off the house's water because I nicked that pipe. That's a real bummer. But we got to cut some more and figure out where the leak's coming from, because at this point it's still not obvious what the problem is. All right, it's the next day. We got that pipe fixed. We pulled the toilet and we started to pull a few of the boards behind the toilet. Look at these boards. The carpenter used like a 3.5 inch finish nail. This is boding poorly. My original theory about a nail in the pipe may come true. So here's what I want to do. The beauty of a little iPhone camera is that it's nice and thin. We can get back in there. I can hear something coming from inside. Let's use the iPhone and videotape this and see what we can find in there. All right, so we got this pipe fixed now.
And there's the two pipes that we fixed. I can hear water spraying from somewhere. Let's see if we can see what's going on back here. Oh, we got some water spewing. And what do we have here? Looks like we got a nail right there. Where is that? Where's that leak? Oh, there it is. I can see it on that trim. There's a trim nail right here. Right in the center there. And it's spewing right through that nail.
Oh yeah, I see it.
You see that on there?
Yeah, I see that little hole.
Oh boy. Alright, well we found the source of the problem, Rob.
Alright, pull it off, Rob. What do we got here?
Oh yeah, that's definitely that nail. Oh, that's that nail right there. There you go.
That's our
That's
plug.
the nail, that's our plug. We just lost the plug. Look at it spewing out. Wow. We gotta go turn the water off again. But there's another nail right on top of that got hit too. They hit it with 2 nails. Alright, I'm gonna go turn the water off the street.
This is awesome.
Alright, so now we know what the problem is. We got a trim nail stuck into a pipe back there. Couple lessons learned here. Number 1, we want to be using just the size trim nail we need. If you're doing shiplap on your walls, the carpenter did use some glue. These trim nails are way too long and we want to really know what we're nailing into. You gotta be really careful, especially in a bathroom when you're using shiplap on these walls. Couple things here too, you know, we've had this thing leaking for a long time, probably a small amount of water at first. We got some remediation we need to do here. We need to make sure there's no mold happening here. We need to dry this all out. Once it's all dry, we'll know that we've stopped any additional mold growth, but we need to clean up what we found, make sure we get rid of any wet or soggy materials. I'm sure the sheathing and the studs are gonna be okay. The plywood on these cabinets are gonna be fine. Sheetrock we probably want to remove and throw away. We're going to run a fan and a dehumidifier in here for at least a week to dry this all out. I think a few lessons learned on this. We want to be really careful about piping on outside walls. We want to be cautious about our nails and our nailing patterns. And when you do come across something like this, we want to make sure it's really dry, the problem is fixed correctly before we put it all back together, and that's going to make sure that we don't have any mold growth or any future indoor air quality issues here. Thanks for joining me, guys. We'll see you next time.